Hi guys, so Copper Canteen, James McMurtry. It's really not too bad. The tuning, you could do this in standard tuning, but because we've got as a reference point the Ultimate Guitar tabs, drop D, so everything's going to stay the same. I know before I tuned down the top D string as well, but just leave it. Those 5 strings stay the same, and it's just your low E string drops down to D. Okay, and then the picking pattern, picking stroke strumming pattern. He's doing this. It's not. Sometimes it's exact, like he's picking out single strings, but quite often he's hitting a couple of strings at a time. And the main thing is the rhythm. It's boom da 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 da, boom da 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 da, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and it's a 3. It's a 3 feel. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. Now, so I was going down down up down down up down up down down up down up. Yeah, that's how you're going to keep in rhythm, by your hand moving 1 and 2 and 3 and down up down up down up, and we got down down up because it's 1 2 and 3 and, yeah. So as usual, downstrokes on the beats, the numbers, and upstrokes on the ands, the upbeats, yeah. So sometimes he just does it, you could call it sloppily, of he's hitting a few strings at a time, and sometimes he's actually hitting single strings. When you hear the introduction, the first downstroke where he's hitting the bass note, he's like hitting 2 strings, so he's not just hitting that A string, he's hitting 2 strings. And you can see from the tab, we start on the 5th fret. Can you see that? We start on the 5th fret of the A string, yeah? And then the intro is one of the places where you sometimes hear those, the more exact picking, the single notes. And we got, now the first stroke, sorry, that first downstroke is the A and the D string I'm plucking through, yeah? And then as you can see in the Ultimate Guitar tab, after that downstroke, I got G string, B string, G string, D string. Okay? G string, B string, G string, D string. Or in terms of the numbers of the strings, 3 2 3 4. 3 2 3 4. And then the first hit is, like I said, the A string and the D string. So now that's where he's being exact, and you can hear all the individual strings. And then quite a lot of the time he's doing a more strummy version of that, which sounds more like this. And I just got the notes wrong there, because I'm not used to having it in drop D. But hopefully you got the point, which is that instead of those single notes, sorry, so instead of those single notes, a lot of the time he's going to be doing, like I said, the more strummy thing. So it's almost exactly the same as, but instead of those single notes, sometimes I'm hitting I'm not being as exact, so sometimes I'm hitting 2 strings at a time, sometimes I'm hitting 1 string at a time. I'm not really worrying. I'm worrying more about down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, to get that rhythm of 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1. etc. Okay, hopefully that's okay. So that's picking, yeah, and that picking pattern, pretty much the whole thing is that picking pattern. There's one part where he goes to B minor, even there I think, I'll have another listen, but yeah, that's the main picking pattern, okay? Now, the chords, this is really D. Do they, it's a form of D. Is that what they say here? And there they say G over D. So yeah, the chord is, no, they're calling that G. Okay, don't worry too much about what they call the chords in the Ultimate Guitar tab and chord sheet, because they're not very good at naming chords on this particular one. The tab is pretty good as a reference point, yeah? You can use that to sort of remember what I'm doing here. So yeah, let's have a look at that intro. We've got A string fret 5. Remember, when I'm hitting that bass note, like I said, I'm hitting 2 strings. And then I got string 3, 2, 3, 4, which is G, B, G, D strings, whether I pick the single notes or have it more strummy. Even if I'm doing it more strummy, I'm kind of aiming for those strings, yeah, rather than all the strings, yeah. So hopefully that's clear. So we've got 5th fret A string, then 4th fret, 2nd fret, open A string, 5th fret E string, 4th fret E string, 2nd fret E string, and then he hits an open D string, and then you have that sequence almost the same again. 5th fret A string, 4th fret A string, 2nd fret A string, open A string, 5th fret E string, 4th fret E string, 2nd fret E string, and that was 2nd fret A string. Okay, so then that's the last note of the second time round, and then he starts singing, I think. So I will leave this video here, so that's the introduction.